Evening, everyone. 1 year on since the worldwide outbreak of COVID-19, its impact remains profound on people's social, economical, physical, and mental well-being. Lockdowns and other measures to curb the spread of COVID-19 continue to shift gender dynamics, notably exposing underlying inequalities in the socio-economic sector. Women's economic security has also been hit hard, impacting their employment and income.
We have our country president, Ms. Chaya ji, giving us our welcome speech. We seem to have a little bit of problem in our connection. Well, I would like to welcome you all. This is me, Surya Dinka, the founder of Earthworks Innovative, and I represent ABWCI for the state of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. And as soon as Ms. Chayaji gets her connection back online, and she's going to continue. Well, ABWCI is a virtual chamber of commerce for women entrepreneurs, and it helps in connecting women from across the globe. It connects institutions that support women entrepreneurs and industry leaders. One of our core missions of ABWCI is to provide access to information and create an entrepreneurial ecosystem for women in business. We have a presence in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, and soon we'll be covering all over the globe. Well, today is the 28th of September. It is declared to be the International Day for Universal Access to Information by the United Nations. So today we mark a special occasion by starting our 4-part webinar series on business continuity in uncertain times. The 3 main subjects that we would cover in this webinar series: business strategy. How does one re-strategize during uncertain times? The third one is finance. How to reorganize your finances when we have unexpected difficult situations or if times are turbulent. The fourth one is HR. And this we would be discussing as to how to retain and how to recruit talent. And today, being the first introductory session, we're going to discuss as to how various industries were affected differently. With the increase in climate change, natural disasters, health crises like the pandemic, we business owners must be prepared for uncertain times. The COVID-19 pandemic was a wake-up call to businesses across the globe. Many sectors faced disruption, but many sectors also saw a lot of growth. Either way, a lot of lesson was learned. So today we gather here with our panelists, 4 amazing women who are going to share their knowledge and experience and help us prepare for the uncertain times ahead. And we're going to start with Ms. Bhumika. Hi, Bhumika ji, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, a little bit about Ms. Bhumika. She's the director of Deswal Solutions Private Limited, the president for Haryana for ABWCI. Well, what do I have to say about Bhumika? Well, she's a serial entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and is a proud owner of Deswal Solutions, which is a manufacturer and exporters of block printed outfits. The brand continues to cater to a large global consumer base spreading across USA, UK, and Philippines. Her passion towards textiles and garments led her to start Deswal Solutions in 2016 with just 5 employees. And in 2021, she is now the source of livelihood for hundreds of families. One of the things that Bhumika and I have in common is our love for traditional art forms. Bhumika also works with several block printing artisans, which they make beautiful fabrics out of it, which is then converted into chic Western wear, which is then again exported all over the world and is very popular amongst celebrities in the USA, UK. We'll talk about that very soon. So Bhumika ji, we are part of an industry where transportation of raw materials and goods are so vital. What was your experience? How did you deal with the pandemic?
With pandemic, actually, whole world came to halt, and we had big export orders lined up that time. And we were just waiting for the government to, any scheme to reopen so that we can start back. That how can we start back and get back to normal lives, because we had most of my workers were migrant laborers, and they all were stuck in their small rooms here in Gurgaon. Every day I was in connection with them to keep them motivated, and we were trying our best to get back to work. So there was a huge list of protocols which was given by the government to start back. And we had to invest hugely to complete all those safety measures and sensitization. We had to buy a big machine for that. We have, just to make our workers more safe and secure with us, we had given them a health insurance of rupees 2 lakh each, so that they are secure. They know that if something happens to them during this time, they have money and they have us at the back. We paid the workers during the lockdown. We did not even cut a single day salary for them. We resumed our operations very quickly, just after 1 month. So we were lucky enough, provided them with free meals. So for 2 months, we did this, and we made sure their livelihood is secure. And as we had orders, we completed them with a delay of 15 to 20 days. And we got a huge order back after that, because I think we were among the very few ones who were able to complete ship on time during that pandemic time. So because we were seeing a growth, we have given bonus to all our employees, which was, I think, not possible without the work and without their support. So we thought when we are earning, we should also give it back to them so they stay motivated. And as there were more orders, it really helped them to stay motivated and continue with us.
So you had a lot of investments that you had to do, especially with the COVID protocols. You had to buy a lot of equipment. You had to ensure the safety of your workers. And I think one of the biggest investments you've done is your workers themselves. And please tell us about your experience when you moved from a small unit and into the CES. It's a big move. I'm sure there are a lot of benefits that come along with it. And what is your advice for women who are also facing such growth?
Yeah, actually, I started 5 years back from my house. 6 years back, I was just selling garments from my house in my neighborhood with a maybe profit margin of 50 rupees on each garment. So I was doing this because my kids were very young. My husband was away on outside job, and I had no family support as such here. So when I started this, it was a very small setup with just 5 people in my team and 2 second-hand machines. So I never knew that I'll see so much of growth, but it was a small setup with kind of a boutique, but for export orders that time, 5 years back, when I got my first export order. So it was a big opportunity for me. The work kept on growing, and every 6 months I saw growth, and I did not look back, and I just took decisions to go ahead and invest more from my savings, because I believe that we all should save along when we are having a source of income. That's what we have learned from our parents.
Yeah.
And it made me to, I never took a loan. So with this continuous growth, there was a problem that after 5 years now, I was stuck. I was although renting out same space, little close by places to make work in that small area. But after some time now, I had more than 25 machines set up, and all of a sudden more growth came in. There was no space left to grow further. The workers were not ready to come to a off location. They were asking for more money. I was not able to accommodate more managerial staff there, because see, everybody who is on a managerial level, they want to work in a bigger setup and a factory-like setup, not a boutique-like setup.
Yeah.
So, and all the vendors who are supplying export raw materials are in industrial areas. They are located there. So I was facing a lot of problems regarding this, which maybe pushed me to take a decision that no, it's time to make huge investments now and move to a bigger place if I want to stay in the trade. And from the buyer side also, I was getting the signals that we are growing. Are you ready for the growth? So obviously I had to take this decision, and I'm happy that I've moved to a bigger place now. It's a small factory, small setup of a factory, but much more organized. And I'm looking for more growth forward.
All right. So Bhumika ji, like you said, you somehow managed your finances. You've saved enough. So you've self-financed your growth. What is your advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs or people who have just started out in your sector? What is your financial advice to them so that they may be prepared either for a growth or either for a pandemic or either for another lockdown? What is your advice to them?
You won't believe, Surya, when I was selling from home and with a 50 rupees margin, I have 2 FDs with me on my daughter's name, which are 2,000 each. Now, when I look back, I mean, I feel proud. Yeah, that was the time where I started. So even a small investment, even small saving, I mean, it helps you a lot, because after 365 days, when you see that saving, it is not that small, it becomes that big. So saving is must, be it small or more. Saving has to be there in the normal routine.
Like a recurring deposit, let's say, put a little bit of your profit aside.
I started with bank. I started with 5,000 recurring RD. Every month I used to just save 5,000 rupees. And slowly, it gave me 75,000 rupees. When I had to buy 2 old machines and hire 2 people, initially, I could do it from my own pocket. And I have been lucky that I have got continuous growth and continuous order, which helped me to save more and more and finance myself finally.
All right. Thank you so much, Bhumika ji. And there is one more thing that I want to ask you. Well, you're quite popular because your block printed outfits are worn by celebrities like Oprah Winfrey. We have the Kardashians wearing your outfits. Tell us more about this. I mean, you should be more vocal about these things.
Earlier, I was not aware till the time I found on Instagram, because I was not very tech savvy. So I was not on Instagram. I was just there on Facebook when I started following my buyer. Okay, it's a surprising thing. I've completed 5 years, but I don't have a website. And I don't have a page for my company because I never got time, and I think I was not, as I'm saying, I was not tech savvy. So I thought, when growth is coming, more orders are coming, there's no need, let me first digest this much. Because when you have some viability on the internet, then people start approaching you. So I never felt the need for it. So when I came to know that, yeah, my garments are, being manufactured by me and they are worn by celebrities, I was super proud. And one of my UK buyer, even she says that Deswal's quality is way apart and it's more than M&S, Zara or any other brand we take.
Oh, we are also very proud of you, Bhumika ji.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, so thank you so much. Stick around. We have a lot of questions already popping up amongst our participants. Well, the next panelist that I would like to invite is Archita Chandra. And Archita Chandra is the founder of shrinari.com. And on your site, you could see our webpage, abwci.org. Like I mentioned, it's a virtual chamber of commerce, and it's a treasure trove of information. You could have a look at our site. It's abwci.org. And if you'd like to be a part of it, and I would highly recommend all women entrepreneurs to sign up and be a part of this global movement. And you could go to our membership page. It's a very simple form that you need to fill up, and our team will get in touch with you, and you will have a login where you can go access the multiple information that all business women, could certainly benefit from. And that's our membership page. Well, thank you, Team ABWCI. And now let's welcome our next panelist, who's Archita Chandra. She's the founder of shrinari.com and a member of ABWCI. Archita is passionate about empowering women, and she's worked with several self-help groups in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal while pursuing her career in event management. And Archita saw this pandemic and a lockdown as an opportunity to do something that she really wanted to do for so many years, which is to get these small business owners to sell on e-commerce platform. And so she founded Srinari.com, and currently there are close to 100 sellers across India, and they feature over 4,000 products. And the primary aim of Srinari is to enable SMEs into a brand. It's not simply about just giving a website for people to sell their products, but Archita literally handholds all of their sellers through the entire process of growing their business. Archita was recently awarded the Inspiring Woman Award by Rising Women based out of Delhi. Welcome, Archita. Hi, how are you doing? So, Archita, you started your company during the pandemic, and we had quite an intensive lockdown in Tamil Nadu. Please tell us about your journey and how you started and all the challenges that you faced.
Well, thank you. The first thing before I talk about, the challenges, of course, all of us have had challenges in different levels and different kinds based on the industries, that we are all in. I would like to give a small description of what Srinari is, as in the name, for many of us to understand, because that's very important. Shri was always a word that was associated, to men, saying Shriman and Shrimati, and, but there is another word, which is Shri, which means wealth, prosperity, growth, success. And this is what we want for, all the women entrepreneurs, across India, right? And that's how Srinari was born. And the pandemic, of course, was a huge challenge, especially for us in terms of getting our PAN card, the registration done, the offices were closed. In fact, something really funny, our PAN card was stuck in a post office that was temporarily closed. So we had to go and knock on the doors and go get it. But in terms of Srinari as a business, it was a great advantage, the pandemic, because everyone was getting on e-commerce platform. Everyone.
There you go. Your website is
Yes.
there. It's been shared. So that's Srinari.com. Well, like I mentioned, there are over 100 sellers from across India. So these are all products that are made by women, and of course, for people who are looking to buy products, who like to support women, this is her website. Archita, the other thing that you do is also help your women create their brand, right?
Yes.
But for that, what we could do is there is a seller registration page, which is just scroll bottom of the page, you will find the seller registration, or it's there right on top. So if you are a business owner and you have products that you'd like to retail online, you can get in touch with Archita with this very link. Well, thank you, team ABWCI. Well, Archita, going back to what you were talking about, why should more women consider selling online?
I'll start with an article that I read a few months back, which said that e-commerce is the future. And in a few years, about 95% of all purchases will happen on an e-commerce platform. And the most important, I think, for any small business is to reach a larger audience and understanding the demand of your product, beyond your social circle or the circle that you're selling in, across various parts of the state, our country or the world, is the most important thing. Most of the small businesses are comfortable with selling online with a limited audience, without realizing that there is a higher demand for their product somewhere else. I'll give you a small example. One of our women from Kerala, she was selling terracotta jewelry, and she was very limited there. Then she came on our site, and another of our entrepreneur who was in Delhi kind of handholded her, and then she realized that her products are so much in demand in Delhi, right? And she had such a major sale there, right? So this is the importance of e-commerce. We also realize that, women entrepreneurs face various challenges, whether they're selling on e-commerce or, on any online platform. Hence, that's why, Srinari was born. And at Srinari, you know, we don't charge any commissions on their sale, okay, because we realize that, you know, that affects your profit margins. We give sponsored discounts, right? That increases their income possibilities. You know, in fact, women have earned in, you know, we launched on August 15th last year. And by this year, when they were renewing, they were themselves like shocked by the amount they have you know, earned from us. It was nearly like some people have nearly earned lakhs from us. And, you know, so we give sponsored discounts for them so that they don't have to spend the extra, but they still get their sales, right? And we generally, you know, we give them training on complete, you know, on how to brand your products, on how to market your products, and how to also build the brand called you more than anything, right? Because everyone loves this, you know, a persona of a small business, especially women who have a genuine story to tell, who have a beautiful legacy to leave behind, right? So
Yeah.
that is what we very strongly believe in Srinari, and that is what we are aiming to do. We also we do not force them to Photoshop their product. We do not you know, force them to photo shoot. See, all this is time and all this is money. And we women are born multitaskers. You know, we take care of our families, we take care of our business. And there is a, you know, and set amount of time that you spend doing all this, or even money. As a small business, we all have limited resources and money to spend, right? And so Srinari very strongly believes that what you sell is what you get, right? Of course, we have a back-end team that takes care of, you know, how good the photograph is. It should be clear and all of that. But we very strongly believe that, and I can very proudly say that it's been a year. We have about 600 sales a month, and that's very, very good for a startup. And we haven't got a single return till date.
Wow. You must be really lucky, yeah?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, touch wood. But yes.
No, it's just that your products are that good. Because if it wasn't,
yes, our women are brilliant. The entrepreneurs, once they are on the platform and once they talk to us, you know, they open their mind and they come in. I have a seller who's 75 years old. She's from Bombay. She has a small boutique at home. She makes her own nighties, you know, and she's so open to learning and, you know, accepting on how to even price their products, right? They're not sure. So when you price, as a manufacturer, you know, Bhumika will agree with me, there are so many things that, you know, you need to add to the price of your product. All we do is we add the, you know, they add the price of the raw material. But what about, you know, your fee? What about your conveyance fee? So there were small things like this, you know, where we completely educated them. And today they are, you know, earning the profits that I feel they absolutely deserve.
All right. Well, Archita, the another interesting thing that Archita does is when I stressed on the fact that she helps small business owners become a brand, she does these branding workshops because we all have phones, we all have laptops right now, and we no longer need to hire ad agencies, as in so most of us can't afford to. So, Archita, tell us about the training that you give to your sellers and, you know, how you help them make their logos and their catalogs.
Right.
Yes.
So I mean, we of course give, like you mentioned, Surya, we do a Canva designing workshop because again, like I said, with your limited resources, you know, you cannot hire designers, professional designers to do the work for you. Many of them didn't know what Canva was, and you know, they were trying to do it on their own with very, very little knowledge of any sort of designing. So, you know, we took these 2 days classes. Everyone goes through a 2 days class with me personally, and it kind of helps everyone design their brand, design their posters, and now everyone is into reels and videos. And you know, what better way if you can do it on your own, do it for free without spending money and build your brand. But on the other side, we also take different trainings where we teach you branding, marketing, how to price your products, what is the right margins to keep. There were many entrepreneurs who are keeping, like, if my product is 100, I'm going to add 200 rupees to it, without any calculation, of why are you adding that 200. So we take them to that whole process, and that's called How to Grow Your Business. So we have these 2 training sessions, and I would want every small business, especially owned by women, to explore possibilities of growth through e-commerce, like connect with us, connect with me. If you have products, great. If you don't have products, there are different avenues you can earn from us. You can collaborate with us, you can join our training session. And so basically, Srinari, I would say, is an ecosystem, right, where everyone can earn and grow together, and that is what I want to create.
Okay, and it is a perfect time for small business owners who otherwise would probably sell in exhibitions or at social gatherings or within their colony or community, for them to get on a platform like yours to sell. Well, Archita, one of the most important questions, see, I'm a Earthworks, we sell on Amazon. And the other thing that we discussed is that Amazon and all these other big e-commerce sites, it's very male dominated. So it's really interesting, and thank you so much for creating a e-com site purely only for women's products. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you is that how do you deal with this very particular, I'm sure you would hear this question quite a bit. A lot of them would ask you, Madam, we don't have GST. We are not GST registered, or we are not a registered company. Now, how do you help these women out?
Right. So,
I mean, what is your solution to a small business owner who is not registered, who does not understand GST and wants to sell online?
Right. So the first thing I think every small business owner must understand is, when you start a company, it is very, very important to get your government registrations, your licenses, your GST. First of all, that is the most important, right? So we would always encourage anyone who tells us that we don't have GST, we would explain to them that you're not going to be spending much, and if you do it the right way, you do not have to spend much. And because there is a the fear of the unknown, I would say. They think that, okay, somebody will come and stand on my door asking me for taxes. That's the kind of a fear that they have, and I've heard this, so I'm saying it. But yes, on Srinari, we have an opportunity for non-GST sellers to also sell their products, wherein what will happen is the GST for the taxes for the products sold on our website will be filed by our trading company. So yes, non-GST sellers can join Srinari.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Archita. I would like to welcome back my personal hero and our country president, Ms. Chaya Nanjappaji, to continue and give us that welcome note that we've all been waiting for. Ma'am, can we do that? All right. Slight technical.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies. A pleasure being with you all today. 1 year on, since the worldwide outbreak of COVID-19, its impact remains profound on people's social, economical, as well as physical and mental well-being. Lockdowns and other measures to curb the spread of COVID-19 continue to shift gender dynamics, notably exposing underlying inequalities in the socio-economic sector. Women's economic security has also been hit hard, impacting their employment and income. Every global challenge also brings with it a wave of emerging opportunities. In the business world, women have always proven themselves as self-starters by rising above adversities. As the economy readjusts to the new normal, women entrepreneurs come to play a significant role. There is a need to revolutionize the entrepreneurial space for women. Here is where the Association of Business Women in Commerce and Industry wants to make a productive intervention. ABWCI aims to serve as an integrated platform dedicated to the empowerment of women in business. At ABWCI, we offer an enabling environment to business women for a better tomorrow. Our mission is to develop an equitable ecosystem that engages, networks, identifies, and leverages market opportunities globally. ABWCI is a purpose-driven organization, and it aspires to provide a collaborative opportunity to women entrepreneurs where business solutions are born out of collective wisdom and knowledge sharing. Our motivation is to create a space that invites members of this ecosystem to join forces. Through today's panel discussion and experience sharing sessions titled Business Continuity in Uncertain Times, we are trying to build a roadmap to establish a high-yielding network of women by women. Without any further delay, I would again request Surya Dinakarji, ABWCI State President for Tamil Nadu and Puducherry and founder of Earthworks Innovative, to continue with the proceedings. We sincerely hope that you find this session enlightening and inspiring. And listening to Bhumika ji right now, I myself felt I could be her vendor very soon, as early as next week. Look forward for a very productive, I would say, even today. And thank you, one and all. Thanks, Zita.
Thank you, ma'am. Like I said, Chaya ji is one of my personal heroes, and thank you for delighting us with your presence here today. And so now that we're continuing the topic on business continuity during uncertain times, today, being the first day of the webinar, we are discussing as to how various industries were affected. And I would like to welcome Ms. Aarti Bindra. Well, Ms. Aarti Bindra is the Managing Director of ACPL Systems and the President of Delhi NCR for ABWCI. Ms. Aarti is a multifaceted entrepreneur who manages a variety of businesses, a coder by education, and a cybersecurity specialist by profession. She has more than 20 years of experience in the entrepreneurial space. Well, she has been part of several businesses. Her experience range from developing apps for kids, deploying cybersecurity solutions for MNCs, and to managing ACPL systems. She is also a certified corporate director who had made sure that her companies are compliance and process driven. Through her efforts, she has ensured gender balanced staff in all her ventures, creating an inclusive ecosystem. ACPL is among the top 25 mid-sized great place to work and top 30 tech employers and India's top workplaces for women. She is passionate about nature and plants and also about helping women grow their business. Welcome, Aarti ma'am. How are you doing today? And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Surya, for wonderful introduction. It sounds good.
Because you are wonderful. I have to, there is so much more that Aarti ma'am does, and we will, when we have the time, I will soon update you on all the awards that she's won and how many organizations that she's a part of. And there are multiple other organizations that she supports. Well, let's begin with our topic today, the pandemic, the disruption. Well, a lot of us presume that the IT sector just, they sort of adapted to the lockdown very easily by working from home. But I'm sure there are a lot more challenges that you faced. So please tell us, how did you manage during the lockdown?
Yeah, thank you so much, Surya. And thank you so much, ABWCI, for giving me the opportunity to share my learnings. So you rightly said, Surya, that IT industry and especially in cybersecurity, we were perceived that, we are used to working from home anytime, anywhere. Anytime, cyber attack can, make us be on our toes and other things. But let me bring, something to your, the picture, in any organization, including mine, 75% of the team is tech team, which is always prepared to, accept the challenges like this and work from home. But that 25% of any organization, which is the back end support functions, which is the accounts, which is the HR, which is the administration, which are in possession with the most critical sensitive information, when they need to work from home, how would that happen? And for me to have my business continuity planning in place would help my customers' business continuity planning. Because being in cybersecurity, it was very, very important for us to have my customers' cybersecurity posture in place. And it was a test for me to have my cybersecurity posture in place to help to enable my customer with the same. So it was a very, very challenging thing, and we anticipated right in time, and we did a lot of things on cybersecurity to educate that rest of the 25% of our staff who was used to working from only from the office premises, and if they would be working from their homes, what would happen? So yes, it was challenging, and we had to, do some, strategy planning.
All right. Well, ma'am, I would like for you to tell us about this very unique training program that you have for cybersecurity and privacy training program, especially for women who've been on a break. So tell us more about this.
Yeah. So, while I think around 10 or 9 years back, I was in one of the interviews, or I was there on a stage wherein somebody asked me that, Aarti, you said that you support many women, and you say that you give hand holding and other things. What are you doing for your own organization? And I said, okay, yes, I said something to, of course, I need to reply and other things. And when I came back, to my office, and I checked with my team that what is the ratio? Yeah, we have male-female ratio. And I realized that we are just less than 5% women in our organization. So I thought that what to do now? I mean, how to, bring that? And I started talking to my people, and I, I started playing within the company. What I did that I started hiring. My HR is all female, then my accounts is all female, my admin is all, the analysis team is female. For cybersecurity, it was a challenge that we need to, convince the people, for that. So what I am doing right now, we have come up with a plan wherein we are bringing more women into the cybersecurity space, and we are making conscious effort for the same. We are going to the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, getting in touch with their BTech students, and we are hiring. We are, picking up the female candidates who are interested to come into this space. I am giving them 6 months rigorous cybersecurity training, and then we bring them on our roles. We are not telling them to go somewhere. Okay, now you are trained, you go somewhere else. We are hiring them on our roles, and now they are, well trained into this thing. So one is this, wherein we are welcoming, ladies who are interested and start their career. Another is that those who are maybe in technology or any other field, and if they would like to come to this sector, we are giving them some trainings on cybersecurity and on privacy, and we would offer them jobs. We are most welcome in all our companies. In ABWCI also, we are, ready to give them placement with. So here is, it is there.
So those who are interested, please log on to our website, and under Knowledge Hub section, we have this particular link. And ma'am, please, would you help us go through?
Yeah,
this?
so you just had a glance. We are doing. So I said conscious efforts. So if you see, Cyber Shiksha is a initiative by Microsoft and Data Security Council of India, and we are supporting the cause. And what happens is that whenever a candidate joins, a female candidate joins Cyber Shiksha program, we give them the placement in our office, and we give them 6 months training, and we pay them also stipend also, so that they can have their living, because they're coming from their hometown staying here. So we pay them stipend also, and we invest on them also. And then once they successfully complete the training, we bring them on roles. So, and it is open to everybody. I really request you with folded hands that you please, in case you know anybody who's interested in joining this space, we are welcoming them.
All right. Thank you so much, Aarti ma'am. Well, it's very easy to say I'm all up for women empowerment. I want to empower women, but to actually put it in practice, like you said, there are many difficulties. For example, Bhumika ji and I working in textiles and garments, the most important guy is the master. And, I just hope that someday that I will be able to also train people in my sector and make a woman pattern maker and master out of it. Well, Aarti ji, you were one of the main reasons for you to do your training programs in cybersecurity or in privacy is because you want more women in this sector. And when it comes to technology, a lot of us just go blank, and a lot of technology advancements. It's not just important for big MNCs and big organizations, but it's so vital for small business owners, especially startups, and especially women business owners. They tend to ignore this part of it. What is your advice to them? Please kindly guide us on the benefits of adapting new technology into our businesses.
It is a very, very, well raised and timely question. I don't know if people are listening to me. I would, give them this advice that, I know everything has already gone digital and we are doing transactions online. It is, I think most of us are very well versed with how to use it, how to sell our products, how to use payment methods. Everything is, I don't think so I need to give training on that. But there is one thing which I would like to emphasize more on. When you walk on a street, when you're generally walking on a street, you're very careful and you never walk with open purse. You never walk with your name on your, or when you are with your kid, you never label your child that okay, he's this or she's this, or you have your currency in your hand or your jewelry like that. You're always very, very careful when you are walking on the street. Then why are we not that careful while we are on cyber? It is again a street. It is a jungle wherein people are they're looking at you. And especially when we talk about small and medium enterprises, let me tell you, most of these cyber attackers, they are targeting the small and medium enterprises. There are so many ransomware attacks which are happening. There are so many payment transaction things are happening. You need to apply your common sense. Just see, if you see there are phishing attacks happening. So I know everybody is well versed. I mean, I have seen my support staff sending things, buying things, purchasing things. But my dear, you need to be very, very careful when you are doing this transaction. There was a lady, she lost money. There was a simple thing. Somebody said that okay, my bank account has been changed from this to this. You need to authenticate the person who is sending the information to you. There are so many attacks happening like that. So I think it is very, very important. Everybody knows driving, but then the rules associated with that are very, very important, I think, and common sense. I would say cybersecurity, nothing but common sense.
That is true. And also the small little things of, making sure, even if you're a small business owner, learning how to keep your inventory, learning how to use new apps. There are so many, we all have access to information, we all have access to apps. And I think it's important that even small, no matter how small your company is, it's better for you to not push it away and say, I'm not a big company, I don't want to learn about it, but be open-minded and be open to learning, especially adapt with the times. Well, thank you, Aarti ji, for your valuable input. And again, we have a lot of questions coming in, and we're going to ask you that in the Q&A session. Well, now I would like to welcome Ms. Chaya Sharma. Very honored to have you here. Well, Ms. Chaya Sharma is the country president for ABWCI, Nepal, founder, chairman of NCTTM, Nepal College of Travel and Tourism Management, member of National Council and convener of Women Leadership Forum of Confederation of Nepalese Industries, CNI, and the member of Constituent Assembly, Nepal. And she's also the founder of SAARC Chamber Crafts Village, a retail outlet for handicrafts for SAARC. She founded the Federation of Women Entrepreneurs Association of Nepal and served as its president from 2011 to 2013. She is an active and influential member of multiple organizations promoting tourism, regional peace, and development. It includes being a member of the advisory committee of SAARC Chamber Women Entrepreneur Council. Chaya Sharma has always been vocal about significance of women's growth in the country's economy. Walking the talk, she pioneered the establishment of Women Entrepreneurship Development Fund and to offer a collateral-free loan to rural women. She has been awarded various awards in her career spanning over 2 decades. She's been awarded mainly the Best Entrepreneur of the Year in 2000 by the Ministry of Industries and honored by the Universal Peace Federation as the Ambassador of Peace. Welcome, Chayaji. Again, like I said, it's an honor to have you here. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much for giving me such an elaborate introduction. Well, the Federation's founding and SAARC founding were all in a team, not singly with me, but yes, I was one of the founders of these associations that you just mentioned. Thank you very much. I'm doing good, and it was really enlightening to listen to my previous speakers. I learned so much, and I will get in touch with them afterwards, definitely.
Sure, ma'am. Well, ma'am, since you've mentored a lot of entrepreneurs in the tourism and in the service sector, what was the effect of the pandemic and the lockdown in the tourism industry per se?
Thank you very much for this very relevant questions for us, because Nepal, the tourism sector in Nepal is one of the very important sector. And obviously, every time there's a calamity or there some crisis, you know, it's always the tourism that is impacted the most. Like a few years back, Nepal witnessed a very severe earthquake. And even that time, it was the tourism sector that was really hampered. And it took us almost 2 years to come back to normal and then, you know, back on track. And again, after that, after 2-3 years, this pandemic, you know, it has had a very devastating effect on the economy. For example, like 2020 was declared Nepal Tourism Year. That was impacted first. And huge economic crisis, of course, with the first lockdown of 5 months brought a very, very severe effect on the economy. And when like 3 months after the lockdown, almost 270 of travel agencies and tour operators, you know, had to close down. So in the economy sector, almost 9% of the GDP is contributed from the tourism sector, which of course had to suffer a huge loss of almost 14.37% in the economy. And the job losses have been very, very huge. We have at least, you know, let's just say that we have almost 1,200 registered hotels, star and tourist standard categories. We have 29 international airlines flying into the country and 20 domestic airlines flying. And numerous, like thousands to almost 2,500 registered trekking agencies, and then other thousands of travel agencies, which completely to a standstill and shut, impacted a lot of employment. So almost 300,000 direct job loss directly. And then like one tourist creates about 9 to 12 people job, you know, with one tourist. So with all these sectors being impacted, it has been almost, I think, 11 lakhs where the job has been impacted, direct and indirect. And for the direct ones is more severe because they are not associated with other organizations. So they are just waiting when their own organization is going to open and resume back to work. So for indirect employees, they're engaged elsewhere. So at least for survival, you know, They have for survival. And the decline, arrival decline has been almost 80%. So you can imagine that how huge the impact of the pandemic has been in the tourism sector. And in the education institutions, like for example, with us, you know, we have tourism studies and other institutions who are also imparting tourism studies. So what happens, even they are impacted in the way that the curriculum, you know, demands internships for a year, and then 4 years of their studies, 1 year of internship is hampered because of total lockdown, because no international flights. The other countries where, you know, the students go for internship, they are closed. So yes, in many different ways, like the pandemic has impacted tourism directly and indirectly the lives of all those who are associated with tourism.
Well, ma'am, it's quite terrible to actually, you know, when you say these really big numbers, it's quite sad. But good news is at the horizon, because things are opening up now slowly. Especially Nepal is now accepting tourist visa, hoping that all of us will meet there very soon. But ma'am, my main question to you is, now that everything is slowly opening up, we discussed earlier as to a holistic approach to recovery. So let's say for the people or the women entrepreneurs or the people who are watching this video, what would your advice be? What was the step-by-step holistic approach towards recovering from the loss of a pandemic or a lockdown?
So first of all, you know, when we talk about recovery, I think since finances, economy has been involved and everybody has suffered this huge financial losses, and there has been a huge finance investment at stake in, say, all the sectors, whether it is the tourism sector or whether it's, you know, the other sectors of entrepreneurship, SMEs, MSMEs. So the stake is very, very high. That is why, like, for a holistic approach and slowly to pick up, I think the first thing would be public-private partnership. The government has to, the private sector and the government have to work together. The government has to put in a whole lot of, you know, stimulus packages, which are very effective and which are, you know, which reach to the actual people who need them. So yes, the private public partnership has to be very, very strong. And Nepal has been working towards, the government has been working with the private sector in a lot of sectors. So, and even they have brought out the stimulus packages for SMEs, even in the tourism sector. But the problem sometimes it does not reach the actual beneficiaries. So yes, first of all, public-private partnership. And another thing is, when we talk about you know, ensuring safety measures, Nepal has now just a few days back, Nepal is open. The government has announced international airport is open, the borders are open. So we are wanting the tourists to come. So the most important part is whether it is airport, whether it is the border area, or whether it is, you know, other tourism service providers like hotels and restaurant, all these places, you know, the most important fact is you have to ensure the health standard measures that have been
put in place by the COVID protocols. Yeah. Yes. Well, ma'am, what would your advice be to women entrepreneurs, especially in the service sector? Because there are additional steps to be taken, and we all know being a woman entrepreneur itself, the dynamics change. So what would your advice be? And also kindly tell us that when we discussed earlier, you mentioned that an education in tourism is important for almost everyone in the service sector. So could you also elaborate on that?
Advice to the to the women entrepreneurs, what I would say is, first of all, we have to sit down and then make a critical analysis of why are we suffering in any crisis. So I think my previous speaker also said that saving is so important, you know. So sometimes we are carried away and we don't think about saving. We don't have a backup backup plan. Most of the time, we don't have a backup plan, like we don't have a business continuity plan. So we need to make first of all, the pandemic, I think, has taught us that we need to really sit down, make a critical analysis of our business and see that we have a business continuity plan where in terms of crisis, we can move on. And then for that, I would mean that maybe go digital, enhance your skills, and then, your savings is very important. Then go online, like in Nepal, in the last pandemic time, we have seen a lot of people going online, and then they have gone into food business. So maybe diversification would be, yes, and enhance your knowledge. And some of them have also, diversified in the sense like people who are dealing in textiles, they have started producing masks and then, PPEs. So how you can survive, those are the ways you have to find. And also accept that, okay, now this is the new normal. You can't just sit back and say that what to do. We can't do anything. So you have to accept and adapt to the situation. And I would also say that make use of the stimulus packages which the government has brought. You find out what is, how it will benefit you. So you have to go. And the other thing, the last one I would like to say is also clubbing together, like women are facing problems of salary, facing problems of rental, their operational costs. So if similar businesses, if women entrepreneurs could get together and then, rent out the same area where you could save on rents and where you could save on support staff. So these are some of the things, small, but then very effective things, I think.
All right. Thank you so much for your valuable advice and all the information you've given us. Chayaji, it's an honor to have you here. Coming to our Q&A session, we had a very interesting question about how is ABWCI different from other associations? Well, I would like to say that we are not charging for membership, and it's a virtual association. So you have all the information that you require on our online portal. And for more information, you could read about us. So you can go through our website. We have a members login for each and every member. And we have our, of course, and if anyone has any other questions that you'd like to ask, this is our contact information. We're based out of Delhi. Drop us a line. Let us know what you're confused about, and we will help you out. Thank you, Hrithik. Well, I would like to thank all our panelists, Aarti Bindra, Ms. Bhumika Deswal, Ms. Chaya Sharma, and Archita Chandra, and of course, Ms. Chaya Nanjapaji for gracing us with your presence. Again, we are at our first webinar on the topic of business continuity. So the upcoming webinar would be on business strategy as to how one should re-strategize in terms of when it comes to uncertain times. So thank you, participants. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon. And if you'd like to know about anything, if you need more information, you could always get in touch with us through our website. Thank you.